Enshrouded is a survival game set in a beautiful post-apocalyptic world where you, the last of your kind, must fight against all odds as the chosen one to find and light the ancient fires and push back the encroaching fog which threatens your very survival. That sounds like a lot of different survival games, right? Really, you wouldn't be wrong to say that at least some parts of this story can be found in other games, but if I know the survival game genre player base as well as I think I do, I'd wager that the majority of us aren't here for the story. We're here for that grind, the sense of exploration you get when you're gliding across the map. The robust combat mechanics, the bosses, and oh baby does Enshrouded deliver.
The biggest thing that I love about Enshrouded's combat system is the ease of experimentation. Because it's so easy to reset your skills on the skill tree, you are free to try any combination that sounds like fun to you. Frontline tanky mage setup, why not? Pocket healer who uses a bow, kinda weird, but you do you. On top of that, weapon variety is just as high. In my 50 hours of gameplay, I think I've seen quite a few options for melee weapons, and I'm sure that they're going to be adding more in the future, so you can really tackle the game however you want. Moving on to the bosses, I think there's quite enough variety to keep you engaged, but there's definitely a bit of copy and paste throughout the map. But hey, if Elden Ring can do it, why can't Enshrouded? That being said, the bosses that seem to be part of the game's narrative are plenty unique, and each of them are very challenging. For those of you who haven't tried the game yet, I'm going to try not to spoil anything in case you want to see these challenges for yourself, but just know that they all hit like a truck, and it may take a couple of tries to get a handle of their moveset. Turning away from the things I love about the game for a second, I'd like to talk about the AI. The AI, to put it simply, is at best rudimentary. There have been multiple encounters of enemies simply walking off a nearby cliff instead of towards me, and for enemies to spawn neck deep in the ground. This can really take some of the challenge out of exploring, but I imagine that these kinds of kinks will be worked out before a full release, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. A bigger issue surrounding this that I've noticed is that bosses seem to only have one or two abilities really, save for the ones that I found that have three. If you're expecting epic boss fights on par with Elden Ring or Dark Souls, you unfortunately won't find it here in its current state. Most bosses can simply be cheesed by fire arrows or magic anyway. Needless to say, graphics and music are both astounding in this game. You can really feel the love and attention that went into crafting both of these. Anytime you wander into a new biome, you're hit with a fitting music accompaniment, new enemies, new plants, new experiences. With a game that's only a third of the way done, I expect it to only get better. For those of you who have tried Enshrouded for yourselves, what are your opinions? Did you like it, love it, or hate it? And as someone who still has a few hours left in their playtime, please feel free to leave any tips and tricks in the comments for me and anyone else who might need a little help. If you think you may be interested in any future review videos that I do, feel free to subscribe and comment on what games you'd like to see on the channel.